Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 20th of February. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, Friday was a bit of a disappointment after the previous 2 days, but sold off this morning. We've already seen a bounce off the weekly pivot. It's at the moment looking rather choppy on the shorter time frames here. And it's really, for me, a break below that weekly pivot becomes bearish. If it can get back and touch its daily pivot, maybe break that, well, erring more, slightly more bullish. But I think the chances are today, with no news out at all today, the US bank holiday, that we could end up in a choppy range-bound day. But that's not to say that's guaranteed for sure. Looking at the pound. Again, a bit of a disappointing day, selling off Friday. Got a weekly pivot above us at the moment, so it's only marginally above us, but above us at the same time. So erring on the more bearish side. A break of this wedge that's sort of formed there could be seen as a bit more bearish and could see further downside, but at the moment it's found some support there. Already touched its daily pivot. As I say, not that far from the weekly pivot now. Maybe if it can break through that weekly pivot and start gaining some momentum, it could be on for the R1, the Audi 200. But again, this is a currency that spent much of the time last week in chop mode, with the exception of when news was coming out. So it doesn't bode particularly well for a bank holiday Monday in the US as well. And with no other significant news, there are the European Council of Finance Ministers meeting, so there is a chance to get some volatility from speakers, but pre-meeting, post-meeting, and a formal statement covering the objectives may be released once the meetings have been concluded. So there is some chance of volatility, but maybe this afternoon as opposed to this morning. And that may be through a deader period. So who knows, we could see some bigger movements. Anyway, moving on to the dollar yen. And well, after 3 good days heading south there, it's at the moment pushing up towards that weekly pivot. The weekly pivot is pivotal in terms of if it stops at that point, starts reversing, gives me an opportunity to sell into, may do so. Looking for more continuation of this quite nice intermediate trend that sort of sits there, but there is a possibility it could start running first before then and just totally break down earlier. And I've just drawn the trend line for that on there. So if it breaks that 21 simple there, that trend line, well, it could be on for Friday's lows and maybe even the S1s. Again, I'm a bit wary of distance we may achieve on some of the, or movement we may achieve on some of these markets this morning or today. Aussie dollar, so it was diverging into those highs. It's put a bearish sort of signal in at the end of Friday, a bearish pivot swing sort of sitting there, although it still remains on the big picture one of the stronger pairings, or the stronger pairing against the US dollar. Already through weekly and daily pivots here, but maybe putting reversal signs in as I talk. We'll see. Looking really, it's a bit of a steep rally there. Personally, whilst it may break down earlier on, it may just be in a chop and walk through that trend line I've just drawn on there, and I'd like to see it below the 21 simple, maybe fish the short side. Although the 500 did pretty well at holding it up on Friday. Through the Asian session, we'll see how it reacts, but from that point on, it could be then starting to come towards these lows we saw earlier last week. Finally, Canadian dollar, consolidated there, tight as anything, very choppy. So I don't like trading it's like this personally, although last week there was a couple of opportunities I saw which gave some reasonable movement rather than reasonable points. The points were okay, but it's a bit indecisive, and you can see the choppiness on this 60-minute chart, the way it's sitting there. At the moment, it's possibly he's done an ABC correction here into the weekly pivot, and wondering whether it will just start pushing up. Of course, we should take into account what's happening to oil here, where oil is actually pushing back a little bit again, back towards that, well, the 54 mark is the key level here that I'm looking forward to see if it breaks at some point. If it starts breaking that, then that could, providing the dollar's not going mad at that time, help the Canadian dollar on its route south. But for now, choppy, and well, it's already hit the weekly pivot there. As I said, maybe if it starts running upwards, it's and continuing this sort of Friday sort of move that was sort of sitting there, maybe we could see a break of this sort of 21, etc., and it could push back towards Friday's highs, the R1 area. So just really need to see it get through this earlier stages here, or through these earlier stages. There is a bit of Canadian data out 1:30, but hardly anything that's going to create massive pips. All right, that's it for me. Have a good day. Bye for now.